download the latest version of the Python language, which is 3.11.0. Hit this yellow button and wait for the downloading process to be completed. Voila! Thank you so much for watching. Once you download the Python's install launcher locally on your device, click on the installer file and make sure to check this option here, Add Python to Path. Then you need to click on Install Now and complete the process without any complication. Done. Setup was successful. The Python language was installed successfully on our device. Hit close. Now we need to use the command prompt to check if you have the Python language installed successfully on your operating system or not. Open the command prompt and you need to type this command, python -- version. Type it and hit enter or return to get the response. Voila, we got this response here, which is Python 3.11.0. So the Python language was installed successfully on our device. You can use the same command for any operating system you are using. Don't worry about this. If you are on Mac or Linux, you can open the terminal and type the same command and you will get the same response, which is the latest version of the Python language, exactly as in this example here. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Our working environment in this course is the Python idle or the Python shell, and you will see a screen like this. You can use options to configure the Python idle here, and from here you can choose any built-in theme for the Python idle. In our case, we are using the idle dark. After opening this integrated development environment, you will see this is a Python prompt symbol or the shell symbol. After this symbol, you can type any input in the Python language and hit enter or return to get the response in the next line without any problems. Our first program is the most famous program to start learning any new programming language, which is the Hello World program. We need to print out this message on the screen. So in the Python language, we use the print function. The print function is a built-in function from the Python library, so you don't need to design or define it. All what you need to do is to call it, and calling a function means executing it. And to execute this print function here, type its name, and inside the round braces of this function, you can see we have a single argument. This argument is a string collection of characters or text inside double quotes. After this, hit enter or return, and the print function will print this message on the screen. You can use the print function to print data types on the screen easily. Hit enter or return. Voila, we got this message, the Hello World message. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. You can use the input function in the Python language to take the user input, and this function will return this user input as a string. The input function is a built-in function also. This means you don't need to define it by using any keyword. All what you need to do is to call it only. We call this function here. But what is the meaning of this? What is this? This is called a variable. We use variables to store different types of values. In the Python language, a variable is a reference for its value in memory, and if you want to retrieve this value from memory, you can use its variable name. So it's a reference for its value in memory. And we have this variable here, username. And we're gonna talk about variables and data types in details in this course, so don't worry about this. And single equal sign here to assign a value to this variable. This value is the input function, this built-in function with its argument here to take the username. And you can see its argument is a string inside double quotes. We need to print the username message on the screen, and to do that, use the print function after this. However, if you try to hit enter or return, you will get this. The input function returns this string here. You can type your name, for example, Ronaldo, and hit enter. We got nothing in the output. We need to use the print function to print out this output on the screen. Type the print function, and inside the round braces of this function, put two arguments. The first one is a string. The second one is the username. To print out the value of the username after this message here, hi. So you will get hi plus the value of the username we've inserted. Now hit enter. We got hi Ronaldo. And instead of this comma, you will see this white space in the output. This is our second program in the Python language. The input function to take an input from the user, and after this the print function to print out this input which we inserted here. You can insert any name instead of Ronaldo if you wish. You can insert your name and try to practice this by yourself to master it. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. You can use the Python shell for small projects to test any Python code quickly without wasting your precious time. Type any code and hit enter or return to get the response or the output in the next line. And we used this previously in this course. However, for large programs, you need to create multiple Python files. Instead of typing code and hitting enter or return, you need to create large Python modules to execute them. And you can do so here in the Python idle without any problems. From the file menu in the Python idle, you can create a new Python file. And the Python file ends with the extension py. Once you create a Python file, hit Ctrl S, or you can go to the file menu to save it. And this is by using the save option. You need to insert the file name, and after this hit save. Our file name here is called printing, and this is a Python file. After saving this file, you can take a look at this Python file. You will see it ends with the extension py. From the options menu, if you want to show line numbers, you can do so easily from here. We check this option. Now we have a Python file, and inside it we can type any valid Python code. Let's use our program, the print function, to print out the most popular program or the most popular message, which is the hello world message. You know, the print function is a built-in function, so you don't need to define it. All what you need to do is to call it to execute it. Type its name, and inside the round braces of this function, insert this string hello world. And hit Ctrl S to save this file, or you can go to the run menu to run this module. You will see an option to save this file. You must save this file before running it. To execute this program and to show the output for this print function to print hello world on the screen, you will see the output in the shell window. Let's go back to the same Python file to add multiple statements. A statement in the Python language is a line of code to perform action or to do something. Another print function to print Python is fun, and another one to print Python is fast. You can add as many statements as you wish here, many statements if you wish. And after this, save this module or this Python file. And if you want to run this Python module, you can go to the run menu and choose run module, or you can use F5 from the keyboard to run this Python module, and you will see the output in the shell window. You will see hello world followed by Python is fun followed by Python is fast. That's all about it for this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Hi there, welcome to this lesson. In this lesson we will talk about comments in the Python language. You need to put explanation about your code inside the Python file to make your code more readable and understandable for anyone. If you want to insert hints, you need to use comments. And there are two types of comments in the Python language: single line comments and multi-line comments. Also, to prevent the execution of a program in the Python language, you can use comments. Let's clarify all these concepts in action. At the beginning of this Python file, let's insert a comment. You can start single line comment by using the number sign or the hash symbol, and anything after this in the same line, the program will ignore it. You can see our single line comment here is print messages on the screen. If you try to run this Python file, you will see the output for the following print statements: print hello world, print Python is fun, and print Python is fast. And you will see nothing related to this comment because this comment for human readability only, not for the program execution. The program will not execute this print messages on screen comment. Let's run this program, and you will see in the shell window, hello world, Python is fun, and Python is fast. And our single line comment is not here in the Python shell, isn't here in the output. So this is very useful to make your code more readable and understandable. One useful way to create single line comment is you can insert it at the end of a statement or at the end of a line of code, like this example here. Single line comment and its content is print Python is fun. And once you run this program again, you will see this comment also for human readability, not for the program execution. This comment was not executed. Now it's time to talk about multiple line comment or multi-line comment. You can create multi-line comment by using multi-hash signs. And here is a simple example for this. This is an example, then another number sign or another hash symbol for multi-line and comment in another line. And this is the first way to create multi-line comment. There is another way to do this by using docstring. Docstring stands for Python documentation string, and you can use it to put a description for your code. If you have a function, for example, you can insert docstring to describe this function or to put hints about this function. And if you want to create docstring, use triple quotes, exactly as in this example here. This is a simple example to clarify this concept of how to create docstring. And you can see the content of this docstring is docstring to put multi-line explanation. Try to save and run this Python module again, and you will see the same previous output: hello world, Python is fun, and Python is fast. All these explanations are for humans only, not for the program execution. And if you want to prevent the execution for any statement here, you can insert the hash sign at the beginning of this line. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Hi there, welcome to this lesson. What is the meaning of a variable? A variable, in general in programming, is used to store information or values to be referenced and manipulated in a computer program. In the Python language, a variable is a reference for its value. So, if you want to store a value in memory, or if you want to store data type in memory, assign a variable to it. And if you want to get this value, use its variable name. Let's clarify this in action. Let's create a variable called number and assign this variable to a value, and this value is integer, which is 10. Integer like 1, 2, 3 without decimal points. After this, hit enter or return. Now 10 is stored in the memory successfully, and if you want to retrieve 10, you need to use the print function to print out the value of number. And also in the Python shell here, you can use the variable name directly and hit enter or return to access its value from the memory. You need to type number and hit enter. Now we got 10. the value of number. This is our first example. You can create variables to store numbers, strings, different types of data structures like lists, tuples, and other data types. I'll show you all of this practically in this course. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Python is a dynamically typed programming language. What is the meaning of this? This means that the Python interpreter does type checking only as code runs, and the type of a variable is allowed to change over its lifetime. And to clarify this, let's create a variable. We create a variable called number, and we assign it to a value, and this value is 15. Integer number or int is a number without any decimal point, like 1, 2, 3, positive or negative numbers without any decimal point, in addition to 0. This value is 15 in this example here, and you can see for this variable no declaration keyword, no keywords like var, const, or anything like other languages. All what you need to do is typing a descriptive and meaningful variable name. This variable name is valid, and there are some rules for naming variables in the Python language. You cannot start the variable name with a number. You need to start the variable name with a letter or underscore character, and try to make the variable name readable to describe its value. Number is equal to 15 in this example here. Also, because the Python language is a dynamically typed programming language, variable names can be assigned to different data types. After hitting enter or return, 15 was stored in the memory successfully, and if you wanna retrieve 15 from the memory, you need to use its reference or its variable name. So use the variable name, in our case it is called number, to access its value from the memory, and hit enter or return. Voila, we got 15. Also, you can use the print function to print out this value on the screen. You need to place the print function, and inside the rounded braces of this function, insert the variable name. In our case here, it is called number, and hit enter. 15 was printed successfully on the screen. As we said previously, Python is a dynamically typed programming language, and you can assign the same variable name to different values. You can assign this variable name to integer number, complex number, floating point number, like this example here. Floating point number or float is a number with a decimal point, and this is for positive and negative numbers also. Also, you can assign this number variable to a string, and I'll show you this. Hit enter. Now, the new value for the number variable is 15.9, and if you try to print out the value of number, you will get the last value of the number variable from the memory. So once you use the variable name called number again and hit enter, you will get the value, the latest value, which is this float. And if you want to get the type of the number variable, you can use the type built-in function. You don't need to define this function. All what you need to do is to call it, and calling a function means executing it. Type function, and its argument is the number function, to get the type or the class type for the value of the number variable. In our case here, we will get the type of this on the screen, which is class float. The latest value of the number variable is floating point number with a decimal point. So we got class float. As we said previously, you can assign the same variable to a string. This is not a number, it's a string, because this number inside double quotation marks. You can use single quotation marks, double quotation marks to store strings in the Python language. And after this, hit enter or return. Now, the latest value of the number variable is 15 as a string. and you can use the type built-in function to get the class type to verify this. Use the calling of this built-in function type, and inside the rounded braces place the number variable again and hit enter, and you can see in this case we got class str stands for string, because the latest value of number is a string inside double quotes here. And you can notice that in the Python language you don't need to put the type of this variable here. We have 3 different data types here. You don't need any keyword to define the type of any variable in the Python language. And as we said previously, all what you need to do is typing a descriptive variable name and follow the rules for naming variables to create a variable name in the Python language. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Hello and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson we will talk about the Python documentation for getting support. You can use the Python help function to invoke the interactive built-in help system. If you want to get all the information needed about an object, you can use the help built-in function. And all what you need to do is to call this help built-in function. You don't need to define or declare it. Type its name and insert the object as an argument for this function inside the rounded braces of this calling. And once you hit enter or return, exactly as you can see, you will get all the information needed here for the print function. You can see the print function prints the values to a stream, and all these details here about the print function. Let's take another example for the input function, another object, another built-in function. Use the help function and inside the rounded braces of this function, insert the input function. Also the input function is another built-in function. Hit enter after typing this statement, and you can see the input function to read a string from standard input, and all these details about the input built-in function. And you can do the same thing for any object you wish or any built-in function. And you can use the help built-in function without any object for general help, and you will see this interactive window here to type any object you wish or any built-in function. Type input and you can see all the details about the input built-in function. And if you want to exit from this interactive help, you can use Q from the keyboard. If you have a variable or an object, as in this example here, x is equal to 10, x is a variable or an object because everything in the Python language is an object, and the value of this object is 10 in this example here. You can use the dir or the dir built-in function to get all the used names, call it and hit enter or return. We got in this output all attributes. Also you can get help regarding an object, as in this example here. Call the help built-in function and insert x as an argument for the help built-in function, and you will get all these details here. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Hi there, welcome to this lesson. In this lesson we will talk about the basic data types in the Python language. You can use these data types in your programs, and this is a very important concept. You can store different data types in memory by using variables. In this lesson we will be discussing some of basic data types in the Python language, and these data types are built-in data types by default. Let's see this in action. At the beginning we will take a simple example for an integer number data type, or int. Int stands for integer number data type, any number without decimal points, negative or positive numbers in addition to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on are integer numbers. 0 is an integer number, and negative numbers without decimal points like -1, -2, -100 are integer numbers also. And we have a simple example here. We have a declared variable called x, and we assign this variable to a value, and this value is an integer number which is 5. And if you want to display the class type of x or the value of x variable, you can use the type built-in function and use x, the variable name, for the value 5 inside the rounded braces of the type built-in function as an argument for the calling of the type built-in function, and the class type for this value is int, and you can notice this in the output. The second data type we have here is float. Refers to floating point number, a number with a decimal point like 1.2 minus 1.3, and this is for negative and positive numbers. Also, any number with a decimal point is considered a floating point number or float, and we have a simple example here. Y is equal to 12.01. This is a floating point number, and you can see if you want to call the type built-in function to execute it for the value of y, you will get class float. The class type for the value of the y object is float inside tags in the output. Use the calling of the type built-in function for it and hit enter, and you will get this response. The next data type is complex, and this is another type of numbers. Complex number contains two parts, the real part in addition to the imaginary part. And a simple example to clarify this: z is equal to 3 plus 5j, and you can use the type built-in function to get the type for the value of the z variable or object. You can see we got in the output class complex. Now it's time to talk about one of the most popular built-in data types in the Python language, which is string. String data type is used to store text. A string is a collection of characters, sequence of characters in between double quotes. If you want to create a string, you can use double quotation marks or single quotation marks. Also, you can use triple quotation marks if you want to create paragraph in multi-line. If you want to create multi-line string, you can use triple quotes. We have a simple example here of a string. You can use single quotes or double quotes to create this string. This is a single line string. You can see this text inside double quotes, or you can use single quotes as we said before. You can assign a variable to this value or this string, and if you want to access or use this value, you can use its variable name to get or retrieve this string from the memory after executing and storing it in the memory. And the type built-in function for this variable called name will give you the class type str, refers to string. Let's use the same string in another operation. We use the print function to print hi in addition to name and separate between them using comma. The print function in this case takes two arguments. The first one is a string without any variable, and the next one or the second one is a variable called name to access its value, which is Ahmad. And to separate between these two arguments inside the rounded braces of the print function, use comma, and this comma will be replaced with a white space in the output. And once you hit enter or return to execute this Python statement, the output will be hi Ahmad, exactly as you can see. You can replace the value of the name variable with another name or another string, and try to do this by yourself to practice and master it. The next built-in data type we have in this lesson is Boolean. Boolean represents two values, true or false, and we have a simple example here for this. Testing is equal to true. You can replace true with false. Testing is a variable or a normal object, and you assign this variable to Boolean value, which is true. And after using the type built-in function in the next line for the testing variable to get the class type for its value, we got class bool. Bool stands for Boolean. You can use the built-in data type called Boolean to represent a truth value, true or false. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. You can use the Python programming language as a calculator to perform mathematical operations. Instead of using calculator or a paper to calculate numbers or to perform mathematical or arithmetic operations, you can use the Python programming language to do different types of operations. And Python is so powerful in this area. You can perform mathematical operations or arithmetic operations, assignment operations, comparison operations, logical operations, and more. Arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus or remainder, exponentiation, and floor division. Let's see this in action. If you want to add two numbers, you can use the plus sign operator. As in this example here, 15 plus 35. Type this operation, and all what you need to do here is hitting enter or return to get the result in the next line. In this case, the result equals 50. You can assign a variable to arithmetic operation to use this variable to access the result of this operation. As in this example here, x equals 15 plus 35, and if you try to use the variable name, you will access the result of this operation. And this is an addition operation also by using the plus sign operator or the addition operator. Next, let's talk about subtraction. Here is a simple example for subtraction. To subtract two numbers, x minus 10. You know the value of x equals 50 and 50 minus 10 equals 40. Use the minus sign operator easily to subtract two numbers, and you can use it without any variable. For instance, you can type 50 minus 10, 30 minus 8, and so on. The next one is the multiplication operation by using the asterisk sign or the asterisk symbol. The value of x, you know, equals 50. 50 multiplied by 3 equals 150. You can type this operation and hit enter or return to get the response or the result for this operation, which is 150 in this example here. If you want to divide two numbers in the Python language, use the division operator, which is the slash symbol or the slash sign. 5 is divided by 2, and the result in this case is floating point number with decimal point, which is 2.5. You can use the slash operator to divide two different numbers. If you want to apply floor division in the Python language, you can use two slash signs. You can use the floor division if you want to round the result down to the nearest whole number. As in this example here, 10.77 divided by 3 using the floor division operator, and the result in this case is the nearest whole number, which is 3.0. You can use the modulus operator to get the remainder from division. The remainder from dividing 7 by 2 equals 1, and this is by using percentage sign or the modulo operator. And if there is no remainder from the division operation, you will get 0 in the output. Another arithmetic operation here, which is exponentiation by using two asterisk symbols. 3 power 2 equals 9. Let's try another one to clarify exponentiation. 3 power 3 equals 27. Type it, hit enter or return to print out the result in the next line. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. You can use the assignment operators in the Python language to assign different types of values to variables. For instance, if you want to assign a value to a variable, you can use single equal sign. However, there are different types of assignment operators available in the Python language. And you can see our first example here. We assign a value to the x variable, and this value is integer number, which is 18. And after this, you can use a plus equal operator to add another number or another value to the latest value of x. X plus equals 2. This is like x equals 18 plus 2. So if you try to print out x, you will get 20. This is a simple addition operation using plus equals. Similarly, you can use minus equals, times equals, slash equals, modulo equals, and so on. Here is another example, x minus equals 5. The latest value of x equals 20 because we added 2 to the first value, which is 18. So in this case, 20 minus 5 equals 15. You can subtract two numbers using this assignment operator here, minus equals. And after applying this example here, the value of x now is 15. 15 times equals 2 equals 30 in this example here. You can use times equals to multiply the value of x by 2. And if you try to get x, you will see the new value, which is 30 in this example here. And to clarify all these concepts, you can use slash equals. X divided by 4 equals this floating point number 7.5. The latest value of x is 30. 30 divided by 4 equals this floating point number here in the output. And you can use this way for floor division, modulus, and so on. You can raise the latest value of x to the power of 2, 7.5 power 2, and print the result on the screen using the print function. You can see the output in the next line. The result of this operation is 56.25. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. You can perform different types of comparison operations in the Python language, and you can use comparison operators to compare values. Comparison operators such as equal, not equal, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. Let's see this in action. First of all, we need to create a variable to perform comparison operations on it. And the name of this variable is number, and its value is an integer number, which is 20. After executing this statement and initializing this variable, let's start performing comparison operations. And you need to know that the result from comparison operation will be a Boolean value, true or false. The first example for using the equal to operator. Number equals 22. This is false. So after typing this statement, hit enter and you will get false, this Boolean value in the output, because the value of the number variable equals 20, not 22. Another example for equal. Number equals 20. In this case, we got true in the output, because the actual value of the number reference or the number variable equals 20. So this is true in this case. The next example for using the not equal operator. Number not equals to 22. In this case, this is true because the value of number equals 20. You can perform also greater than. Number is greater than 10. This is true. 20 is greater than 10. The next example, to apply the less than operator. Number is less than 13. Actually, this is false. 20 is not less than 13, it's greater than 13. Number is greater than or equal to 19, this is true. 20 actually is greater than 19. Number is less than or equal to 30, this is also true. That's all about comparison operators in the Python language. All the results are Boolean values, true or false. You can perform logical operations in the Python language. It's possible to use different types of logical operators in the Python language. Operators such as AND, OR, NOT, and so on. And these operators are very useful to combine conditional blocks. Our first example here is about using the AND operator. And the AND operator returns true if both statements are true. If the two sides of the AND operator are true. Exactly as in this example here. The left statement of the AND operator is true. Number is less than 30. And the right one also is true. Number equals 20. So after hitting enter or return, you will get true in the output. The output is a Boolean value, as you can see. And if one of the two statements is false, the AND operator in this case will return false in the output. And we have a simple example for this. Number is not less than 10. This is false. So the AND operator in this case returns false. The second logical operator is OR. The OR operator returns true if one of the two statements is true. So that in this example here you can see the left side or the left statement of the OR operator is false, but the right side or the right statement is true. So in this case the OR operator returns true because one of the two statements is true here. Finally, if you want to reverse the final result, you can use the logical NOT operator. The logical NOT operator returns false if the result is true and returns true if the result is false. Exactly as in this example here, we use the NOT operator to reverse the result of the previous operation. And the result of the previous operation, you know, it was true. So not true equals false. That's all about it. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. One of the most popular built-in data structures in the Python language is list. If you want to store many items in memory by using a single reference or a single special variable, you need to use lists. Lists in the Python language are ordered, indexed, and changeable collection of items. Also, lists allow duplicate values. You can repeat the same items many times. And if you want to create a list in the Python language, there are two ways to do that. The first one is by using square brackets, and the second one is by using the list built-in constructor or function from the Python library. Let me show you how to create a list in the Python language. Let's create a list of 5 items. These items are integers. Just create a normal variable, and this variable is a reference for this list, and insert all the values of this list inside square braces. Separate between them using commas 7, 8, 10, 20, and 30. And after creating and initializing this list, if you want to access it, you can use its reference or its variable name, which is shared numbers in this case. For example, you can create list of shared numbers, list of cars, list of any data types. Also, if you want to create a mixed list, you can do this. A list can contain different data types at once. Our first example is about creating a list of integer numbers. And here is another example of creating a list of strings. You can see 7 inside double quotes, 8 inside double quotes, and so on. These are strings, not numbers. Create a variable and assign it to this list. And after this, if you want to access all these items, you can use its reference name or its object name, which is shared numbers in this case. And you can create strings using double quotes or single quotes. Let's try another one. Create a reference called animals to create a list of animals. And this list contains 3 items: lion, cat, and dog. And you can notice that all these items are strings. And you can create the same list by using the built-in function called list. And after declaring and initializing this list, you can use its name animals to access it. A list can contain another list. In the previous example, we have created the animals list. And in this example here, we create another list called new animals, and this list contains the animals list in the first position, in the first index. So in this example here, the new animals list contains 4 items. The first one is the animals list, the second one is horse, and so on. And once you use the reference name for the new animals list, which is new animals, you will get all the items of the new animals list. In the first position, we have the animals list and all the other items. Lists are zero-based index. This means if you want to access the first item from a list, you can use the index number 0. If you want to access the second item, you need to use the index number 1. And we have a simple example here. To access the first item from the new animals list, we use 0 inside square braces after the list name. And you know the first item in the new animals list is the animals list, the full animals list. This is in the first position of the new animals list or the first index. And if you want to access the second item from the new animals list, you need to use the list name or its reference name followed by square braces and the index number 1 inside these square braces. And once you hit enter, you will get the second item, which is horse in this example. You can try by yourself to access the third item by using the index number 2 to master this concept. To clarify everything about accessing items using positive indexing, here we access the first item and the second item from the animals list. The first item has index 0, which is lion, and the second item from the animals list that has the index 1, which is cat. In addition to positive indexing for accessing items, you can use also negative indexing. Negative indexing counts from the end of list. So if you want to access the last item from the animals list, you can use the index number -1. This is the first item from right. And if you want to access the second last item, you can use the index -2 inside square braces after the list name. Animals -2 inside square braces returns cat. Cat is the second last item in the animals list. If you want to remove the last item from a list, you can use the pop built-in function. Exactly as in this example here. Type the list name, new animals in this case, followed by the dot notation, followed by the calling of the pop built-in function to execute it without any argument, and it returns tiger. And if you try to print the new animals list after this removing, you will see Tiger was removed successfully from this list by using the pop built-in function. Also, you can use the pop built-in function to remove specified item. If you want to remove any item from the new animals list, for example, you can use its index number inside the round braces of the pop built-in function, and this item will be removed successfully. Now let's talk about adding items to a list. If you want to add a single item to the end of a list, for example, the new animals list, you can use the append built-in function. Also, it's a function from the Python library. Type the reference name for a list, which is new animals in this case, followed by the dot notation, followed by the calling of the append built-in function to execute it, and it has a single argument, which is elephant, a string data type inside double quotes. We want to add this item to this new animals list, so we inserted it as an argument inside the round braces of the append built-in function. And after accessing or printing the new animals list, you'll see elephant was added at the end of this new animals list successfully. Try to add another item by using the same built-in function to master this concept. You can use the remove built-in function to remove the specified item, exactly as in this example here. We have the remove built-in function. Type the list reference, which is new animals, then dot notation, and call the remove built-in function. And in this case, we want to remove goat, so we type this value inside the round braces of the remove built-in function to remove this value from the new animals list. And once you access and print the new animals list, you will see goat was removed successfully from this list. You can remove another item by using the same way. If you want to change any value from a list, you can do so easily by using the index number for this value. For example, we need to change the first item in the new animals list, so we type new animals followed by the index number 0 inside square braces, and this is the position of the first item, and we want to change it to cow, so use single equal sign to assign new value to new animals 0. And once you access or print the new animals list, after this you will see the first item was changed successfully. Now the first item in the new animals list is cow, a string instead of the animals list with 3 items. Currently the new animals list has 3 items. If you want to get the length of this list or the number of items in this list, you can use built-in function, and this built-in function is the len built-in function. You need to call it to execute it and place the specified list as an argument for this function. The specified list in this case is the new animals list, and once you hit enter, you will get 3 in the output because the new animals list currently has 3 items: cow, horse, and elephant. There is a useful function to reverse the list completely. For example, if you want to reverse the new animals list, you can use the reverse built-in function with it. Type new animals dot reverse without any argument for the reverse built-in function and hit enter. Then access the new animals list with its reference name, which is new animals, this special variable, and it prints this reversed list. The new animals list was reversed successfully. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. The second built-in data structure we have here in this course in the Python language is tuple. Also, if you want to store many values in a single special variable, or if you want to store many data types at once in memory by using a single special reference, you can use tuple. A tuple is a constant list. Tuples are immutable, so after creating and initializing a tuple, you cannot change its values. You cannot add or remove values from this tuple because it's immutable, it's unchangeable. However, tuples are ordered and indexed. Also, tuples allow duplicates. You can repeat the same item as many as you wish in the same tuple. And there are two ways to create tuples in the Python language. You can place all the items inside the round braces, or you can use the tuple built-in constructor. It's a built-in function from the Python library to make a tuple. Let's take our first example. We create a tuple and this tuple is called animals. Animals is the reference of this tuple of 4 items. All the items inside this tuple are strings. Just create a descriptive and meaningful variable and assign it to a tuple of many items as you need. Also, you can place any data types. You can create a tuple of animals, cars, colors, numbers, and so on. And after creating this tuple, you can use its reference name or its object name animals to access and print it. And you can see in the response, we got the full tuple of 4 items. As we said previously, tuples are indexed. So, you can use the indexed numbers to access items from this tuple called animals. The first item in a tuple has the index 0, such as in lists. The second item has the index 1, and so on. This is about positive indexing. Put the reference name for this tuple animals followed by square braces, and inside these square braces insert the index number for the specified item. The first item in the animals tuple is cow, and the second item that has the index 2 in the animals tuple is lion, and you can access the third item that has the index 2 and so on. Also, you can use negative indexing to access items from the end of this animals tuple, and you can do the same thing for any tuple. The last item has the index -1 and the second last item has the index -2. Exactly as in this example here. The last item in the animals tuple that has the index -1 is dog, and the second last item that has the index -2 is cat. If you want to access a range of items, you can do so easily by using colon, as in this example here. You can see in this example animals and inside square braces colon -2. We used colon -2 to access all the items in the animals tuple from the beginning of this tuple to the item that has index -2, but this item that has index -2 is not included in the output, so we got in the output all the items before the value that has index -2. Also, you can set starting index and leave out the end index inside square braces to access all the items from this starting index to the end of this animals tuple. And you can do the same thing for any tuple, as in this example here. Animals and inside square braces 1, then colon, and leave out the end index. We type this to access all the items from the animals tuple from the index 1, which is the second item, to the end of this tuple. So we got lion, cat, and dog, and in this case you can see the starting index 1 is included here, which is lion, the second item. And if you want to insert the start index in addition to the end index at the same time, you can do so easily to access a range of items between these two indexes. The start index is included in this range, but the end index is not included. So in this example here, we got all the items from the index 0 to the index 2, but the index 2 is not included here in this operation. As we said previously, tuples are constant lists or immutable. So if you try to change any item from a tuple after creating it, you will get type error. Tuple object doesn't support item assignment. You cannot change any value from this tuple after assigning it. And we have an example here to clarify this. We have created tuple called shared numbers, and it has 6 items of integers. We've tried to change the third item from this shared numbers tuple to 9 instead of 10. But after executing this, we've got type error in the output. Tuple object doesn't support item assignment. You cannot change any value from this shared numbers tuple. You can use the index built-in function to get the index number for the specified value, as in this example here. We use the index built-in function for the shared numbers tuple to access the index number for the item 11 from this tuple. So the position of 11 in the shared numbers tuple is 3. Another useful built-in data structure in the Python language is set. You can create a set to store many values in memory by using a single special variable or reference. Sets are unordered, and also no duplicated elements inside a set. You cannot repeat the same item many times. And if you want to create a set in the Python language, there are 2 ways to achieve this. The first one is by using curly braces and place all the values needed inside these curly braces. The second way for creating a set in Python is by using the set built-in function or the set constructor. Let's start by creating a set in the Python language. Create a descriptive variable called fruits and assign a set of 4 items to it. Use curly braces, and inside these curly braces insert all the items needed. We have 4 items of strings: banana, lemon, fig, and watermelon. Separate between these items also by using commas, as in lists and tuples. And if you want to access this set, use its reference name or its variable name, which is fruits, this special object. And after hitting enter, you will get the full set. And you can see in the output, this set is randomly organized. This set is unordered. If you want to access or get the number of items in a set, you can use the len built-in function. Call this function from the Python library to execute it, and insert the set name or its reference name as an argument for the calling of this len built-in function, as in this example here. And after executing this statement, you will get the number of items in the output. So we've got in this example 4 items in the fruits set. Actually, this is the length of this set. You can use a set to store many data types, not only strings. You can store integer numbers, boolean values, and so on. And we have another example here. We have another set called shared numbers. This is the reference name for this shared numbers set. And inside the curly braces of this set, we have 5 items of integer numbers: 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And if you want to access this set, you can use the reference name for it, which is shared numbers. This is the variable name, the object name for this set. Do you want to test the presence of an item in a set? You can do so easily by using the in operator. Just in this example here, we type 8 in shared numbers to check the presence of this integer value 8 in this shared numbers set. And the output for this operation will be a boolean value, true or false. If 8 is inside the shared numbers set, you will get true, as in this example here. 8 actually is inside the shared numbers set, and if it's not inside the shared numbers set, you will get false in the output. Also, you can use the not in operator instead of using in, also to check the presence of an item, like this example here. Lemon not in fruits. This is false because inside the fruits set we have an item called lemon. So for this reason we got false in the output here. You can use the same way to check the presence of any item in a set. To add a single item or a single value to a set, you can use the built-in function add. After the name of the specified set, call the add built-in function with a value inside the round braces of it as an argument for this function, as in this example here. Shared numbers dot add and a single argument in this case, which is 20. We need to add 20 to the shared numbers set, and once you access this set after this addition operation, you will see 20 was inserted successfully inside this shared numbers set. However, this set is unordered, and also after creating a set you cannot change its items, but you can add new items to it. Let's talk about removing items from a set. To remove an item in a set, you can use the built-in function called remove. Just call it after the name of the set and put the specified item inside the round braces for the calling of the remove built-in function. We have an example here to clarify this concept. We need to remove the item fig from the fruits set. So we have the name of this set, fruits, followed by the dot notation, followed by the calling of the remove built-in function. And inside the round braces of this function, put the argument fig or any item from the fruits set. After executing this statement, if you try to access the fruits set, you will see fig was removed successfully from this set. We have 3 items now: banana, lemon, and watermelon. You can join 2 or more sets in the Python language. For example, you can use the union built-in function to return a new set containing all items from both sets. As in this example here, create a new reference or a new variable. Its name in this example is new set, and assign it to this operation shared numbers.union and the fruits set inside the round braces of this union built-in function as an argument for it. And once you execute this assignment statement, you can access the new set by using this reference name or this new object name, which is new set, and you will see we have a new set containing all items from both sets, shared numbers in addition to fruits. The second way of creating a set in the Python language is by using the set constructor or the set built-in function. And we have a simple example: create a reference name or a variable name. Try to make it more descriptive, meaningful, and readable. This is called shirts in this example, and assign it to the set constructor. You can see all the items inside a list inside the set constructor. This list of 5 items as an argument for this set. This is the second way of creating a set in the Python language, and if you try to access this set by using its reference name, you will get in the output all the items inside curly braces, as you can see. unordered and randomly organized collection of values. Suppose we want to create a constant set. How can we do that? You can create a constant set by using the frozen set built-in function and insert all the items as a set inside the round braces of this function as an argument for this function. And we have a simple example here to create a constant set. Shirts equals frozen set, and inside the round braces of this function you can see we have collection of items, list of integer numbers, and after executing this assignment statement you can access this constant set by using the reference name shirts, and you can see in the output we have a frozen set, a constant set 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 20. That's all about it for this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Our last built-in data structure we have in this course is dictionary. Dictionaries also are used to store many values by using a single special variable. You can store many values at once in memory by using a single reference or a single object. There are other names for dictionary such as hash, map, and associative array. Dictionaries also are changeable and no duplicated elements in dictionaries. You cannot repeat the same item or the same key value pairs in a dictionary. If you want to store values in key value pairs, you can use dictionaries to do this. And there are two ways to create a dictionary in the Python language. The first one is by using curly braces and insert all the items in the key value pairs shape inside these curly braces. And the other way for creating dictionaries in the Python language is by using the built-in function called dict. Let's create our first dictionary, which is called food store. And this dictionary has 4 items, and each item has its key and each key has its value. The key of the first item is candy and its value is 5. The key of the second item is fish and its value is 3. The key of the third item is bread and its value is 20, etc., etc. All this inside curly braces. This is about storing many values in key value pairs. And if you want to access this dictionary, use its reference name, as in this example here. Food store is the reference name for this dictionary. If you want to access any value from the food store dictionary, you can use the key name for this value, as in this example here. If you want to access the value of fish, use the reference name for the dictionary and inside square braces insert the key name for this value, and the value of fish is 3, and you can notice this inside the dictionary. It's available also to change any value you wish from this dictionary. If you want to change the value of bread, for example, you can assign a new value to it using single equal sign. Type food store, this reference name followed by square braces, and the key name in this case is bread, and single equal sign to assign a new value, and the new value is 15. We need to change the previous value with this new value 15. So once you access the food store again, you will see in the output the new value of bread is 15, not 20 as in the previous one. Suppose we want to delete an item. We want to delete key value pair. You can do so easily by using the del built-in function. Just call it, and inside the round braces insert this argument, the reference name food store followed by square braces and the key name for the specified item, In this case, we want to remove the key candy and its value 5 from the food store dictionary completely. And once you access the food store after this deletion process, you will see candy was removed with its value successfully from the food store dictionary. If you want to add a new item to the food store dictionary, you can use new key name inside square braces. Put the reference name or the dictionary name food store followed by square braces and the new key inside these square braces, which is apple juice in this example, and assign this to a value of this key. So after executing this statement, if you try to access or print the food store dictionary, you can see new item was added successfully. Its key is apple juice and its value is 2. You can use the pop built-in function to remove an item from a dictionary, and this can be achieved by using the specified key name, exactly as in this example here. You can see the reference name followed by the dot notation and call the pop built-in function, and the specified key name here is apple juice. We want to remove the item that has this key. Once you execute this statement, it returns the value of apple juice in the output, which is 2. However, if you try to print out the food store dictionary again, it shows the food store dictionary without apple juice. The specified item was removed successfully. There is another useful built-in function also to remove the last inserted item in this dictionary, and this built-in function is called pop item. You need to call it to execute it. Type the dictionary name followed by the dot notation and call this function and execute this statement, and you can see in the output the last inserted item in the food store dictionary is eggs and its value is 10. And once you access the food store again, you can see the specified item eggs was removed successfully. To clear all the food store dictionary, you can use the clear built-in function. Call it after the name of this dictionary, and you can see now the food store dictionary is empty in the output. No items inside this food store dictionary. After clearing the food store dictionary, you can update it with multiple items at once by using built-in function, and this built-in function called update. Type the reference name or the dictionary name followed by the dot notation, then the calling of the update built-in function with a single argument, and this single argument is our new dictionary. We want to add all these items inside the empty dictionary. So after updating this dictionary, you can use its reference name for the store again, and you can see this dictionary was updated successfully. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Hi there, welcome to this lesson. You can use conditional statements to make decisions based on certain conditions. Conditional statements are used to perform different actions based on specified test expression or condition. To use conditional statements in the Python language, you need to know about 3 keywords: if, elif, and else. We will take examples about all of them, so don't worry about that. The conditional statements blocks are defined using white spaces or indentation. For white spaces by default, this is standard. Let's start by taking a simple example about creating the conditional if statement to perform action. If the condition of the conditional statement is true, Python will execute the full body of this conditional statement. As in this example here, we have created this conditional if statement by using the if keyword followed by condition or test expression. In this example, we've used Boolean value, which is true. However, in the condition of the conditional if statement, you can use also logical and comparison operations. To mark the end of the conditional if statement header, use a colon and hit enter after it. And you will see the body was indented successfully using 4 white spaces. This is by default. We have a single statement here, which is a print function to print printed. Just a small string to clarify this concept. Once you hit enter or return, you will see in the output this string printed, because in this case the condition of the conditional if statement is true, so the full body of the conditional if statement was executed successfully. Let's take another example, but by using comparison operation. In this case, create two variables x and y, two references. The reference of the value 10 is x and the reference of the value 20 is y. And you can see in the conditional if statement in this example, the condition or the test expression is true, x equals 10. The result of this condition is true, so the program will execute the full body of the conditional if statement. Any statements inside the body of the conditional if statement in this case will be executed. So once you hit enter or return, you will get this output exactly as you can see, which is printed. The print built-in function from inside the body of the conditional if statement printed this message on the screen. You can place as many statements as you wish inside the body of this conditional if statement to execute them if the conditional if statement condition is true. If the condition of the conditional if statement is false, in this case Python will skip the full body of the conditional if statement. The body of the conditional if statement in this case will not be executed, so you will get nothing in the output. Exactly as in this example here, if x equals y, this condition actually is false. X equals 10 and y equals 20. So these two values are not equal. So for this reason, Python will not execute the body of this conditional if statement, will skip it. And in this case, you need to use the elif statement to create another condition after this to execute it, or you can use the else statement to execute it if all the previous conditions are false. Let me show you that. Let's create our full program with the conditional if statement, conditional elif statement, and the else statement to make everything clear to understand. You can see the conditional if statement condition is x equals y. This condition is false, so Python will skip the body of this conditional if statement, will not execute it. And you can see after this the elif statement. This is another conditional statement. In general, Python will execute the body of the conditional elif statement if all the previous conditions are false and its condition is true. But in this example here, its condition is false also. X is not greater than y. Actually, x is less than y. So in this case also, Python will skip the body of the conditional elif statement. And in this case, you will see in the output y is the biggest. This string from inside the body of the else statement. Python will execute the else statement in this case because all the previous conditions are false and there is no condition for the else statement. Go ahead and run this program by hitting enter or return, and you can see in the output y is the biggest. To master these concepts, try by yourself to change the condition of the conditional elif statement. Change greater than to less than and execute the same program to see the difference in the output. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Loop is a sequence of instructions that is continually repeated until a certain condition is reached. You can repeat block or set of instructions or statements as long as a condition is true. And there are two types of loops in the Python programming language. The first type is the while loop, and the second type is the for loop. And in this lesson we will discuss the while loop in the Python programming language. You can create while loop by using the while keyword, and Python recognizes the body of the while loop using indentation for white spaces as standard. Let's see this in action. Let's create a variable, and this variable name is I to use its value in the while loop. Start the while loop with the while keyword, and after the while keyword directly you can see test expression or condition, and Python will repeat this block of code or the while loop statements from inside the body of it as long as this condition is true. And the body, as you can see, of the while loop is indented using white spaces. For white spaces by default, the print function to print I is located inside the body of the while loop. And don't forget to place incrementation. Don't forget to increment I, or else this loop will continue forever. So in this example we inserted I plus equals 1. And once you execute this example, you will see based on the condition of this while loop in the output 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the last value is 8. 8 is less than 9, and this is the last value. 9 is not included here because 9 is not less than 9, so this is not true. So the last value in this loop is 8. You can change this condition to master this concept. If you want to break the while loop in a specified value, you can do so easily by using the break statement. The break statement stops the while loop even if the while condition is true. In this example here, after creating the I variable and assigning its value 0, you can see the while loop and its condition is I less than 9. The print function to print I inside the body of the while loop, and we have a condition here if I equals 5. And if this condition is true, Python will stop this program. We'll break it by using the break statement. And don't forget to increment I. So once you execute this while loop, you can see in the output the last value is 5. And we have a condition here which is if I equals 5, break to stop this program if this condition is true. So the last value in the output is 5. You can change this value by yourself to master this concept in practice. Also, there is another useful statement that you can use inside the while loop. You can use the continue statement. And by using the continue statement, we can stop the current iteration and continue with the next. If you want to skip any value from this loop, you can use the continue statement to do so. And we have an example here to clarify the using of the continue statement. We have a condition in the while loop here by using the conditional if statement. This condition is I equals 5. And if this condition is true, the program will skip it, will stop this current iteration which is 5 and continue with the next. And you can notice in the output there is no 5. In the output we have 4, then 6, 7, 8, and the last value 9. 5 was skipped here by using the continue statement. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. The second type of loops is the for loops. You can use for loops in the Python language to iterate over sequences. Sequences like lists, tuples, ranges, dictionaries, strings, etc. etc. You can execute and loop through a collection once for each item. If you want to loop through all the items of a list, you can do so by using the for loop to execute or display all these items one by one. Let me show you that in action. Let's start by using the for loop to iterate over ranges by using the range built-in function. If you want to create for loop in the Python language, you need to use the for keyword. Start the for loop with this keyword followed by variable. This variable in this example is I. Follow the rules for naming variables here to give this variable a name. And in range 9, we use the range built-in function here, and its argument is 9. Range 9 is not the values of 0 to 9, but the values of 0 to 8. The last value, 9 in this example, will not included in the output. The body of the for loop is indented using 4 white spaces by default, and you know Python recognizes blocks by using 4 white spaces by default. This is standard. The print function to print the value of I. I represents the first item, which is 0 in this range, and after displaying the first item, it will represent the second one, which is 1, and so on until reaching the last item, which is 8. 8 is the last through item in this range. And if you want to execute this program, hit enter or return, and you can see this sequence or this range of numbers from 0 to 8. And you can notice that 9 is not included here. You can change the specified number from inside the round braces of the range built-in function. You can change it, for example, to 20 to see the difference in the output. To master this concept, we use the range built-in function to return a sequence of numbers, and this function can take a single argument as in the previous example, and in this example the range starts from 0 by default and increments by 1 also by default. However, the range function can take 2 arguments to specify the starting value and the ending value, exactly as in this example here. Another for loop, and I represents each number in this range one by one. It represents 0, then 1, until reaching the last true value, which is 8. However, you can see in this example here, we specify the ending value, which is 9. The range function has 2 arguments, and the print function inside the body of the for loop to print I. Once you execute this program, you can see the range starts from 0 and ends at 8. You can change this range based on what you need. You can change 0 to 3, for example, and you can change 9 to 15. And you can see in this example here, 9 also was not included in the output. You can add another argument for the range function to specify the increment value, exactly as in this example here. The third argument in the range built-in function is 3. You can specify another value. This is increment value to increase I by 3. So in the output you can see the starting value is 0, then 3, then 6. And the ending value or the last value in this range, 9, was not included in the output. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. As you said previously, you can use the for loop to iterate over sequences. Sequences such as lists, tuples, dictionaries, etc. etc. And in this lesson I will show you some examples of using the for loop to iterate over sequences. In the first example, we need to create a list to iterate over it by using the for loop to display its items one by one until reaching the last true value or item in this list. So that we have a list here called animals, and this animals list has 4 items of strings: lion, elephant, cat and dog. all this inside square braces. This is a normal list. And after this, create a for loop to iterate over this animal's list. So we have created a variable. This variable is called animal. You can give this variable another name if you wish, like I, X, item, or any valid name in the Python language. Follow the rules for naming variables to name this variable. For animal, in animals, animal will represent the first item, and after displaying and printing it, it will continue with the second item, then the third item, until reaching the last true item in this list, which is dog. So you will see all these items in the output one by one, and the print function inside the indented body of this for loop to print animal. Execute this program by using enter or return, and you will see the output. You will see this sequence one by one, so that the for loop is so useful. You can create another list with different data values, and you can use the for loop to iterate over its items, exactly as in this example here. You know, string is collection of characters. It's a sequence. So you can use the for loop also to iterate over this sequence of characters. Exactly as in this example here, we have a string which is elephant. If you want to replace this string with another string, you can do so easily. You can use double quotes or single quotes to do so. Use the for loop followed by a variable, descriptive variable, and give this variable valid name, then the in keyword followed by the sequence or its name. You can assign this sequence to a variable, and you can use the variable name after the in keyword, or you can use it directly as in this example here for elephant, and place the print function inside the indented body of the for loop to print I. I represents the first character in this string, and after printing it, it represents the next one, which is L, until reaching the last true character, which is T in this string. You need to hit enter or return to show the output for this for loop. You can see all the characters one by one from E until reaching the last true character or letter, which is T in this string. Let's take another example. We need to use the for loop to iterate over tuple. We have a tuple here. By using round braces, you can create tuples using round braces or the tuple constructor. The reference or the object name of this tuple is animals, and we have created for loop after this, followed by animal in animals, and the print function to print animal. And you can use the break statement to stop this for loop if animal equals cat, if this condition is true. So you can see in the output we got these three items only: lion, elephant, and cat, but dog was not included here. This is due to using the break statement in the conditional if statement in the for loop to stop this loop after displaying cat. And you can use the continue statement with the same tuple to skip an item from this tuple. After creating the animals tuple and creating the for loop for animal in animals, set the conditional if statement with this condition animal equals cat. Because we used the continue statement here, Python stops this item in the condition of the conditional if statement and continues with the next. And don't forget to print animal after this condition. And you can take a look at the output. This for loop prints lion, elephant, skips cat, and continue with the next, which is dog. Dog is the last true value in this loop. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Hi there, welcome to this lesson. Let's define a function in general. A function in general is a set of related statements which only runs when it is called. It's a block of code, and if you want to execute this block of code, you need to call it. And the body of any function in the Python language is indented by using white spaces, and this is called indentation. If you want to define a function in the Python language, you need to use the def keyword. It's a keyword from the Python library. Start the function header with this keyword, followed by the name of the function, and try to make the function name descriptive, meaningful, and readable, and follow the rules for naming variables to give a name for any function. So why do we use functions in the Python language, or in general in programming? We use functions to perform tasks. Let me show you this in action. Let's create our first function in the Python language. As we said previously, to create a function, start the function header with the def keyword, followed by the name of the function, which is a new function in our example. And after this function name, place empty round braces. This function can take parameters, and I'll show you that later. And after this, to mark the end of the function header, place a colon, and after this colon, hit enter or return to start the body of this new function. You will see the body is indented using white spaces. 4 white spaces by default in idle before the print function here, and the print function is inside the body of the new function to print out this string or this message on the screen. Hi, Python is powerful and fast. So to execute the full body of this new function, you need to call it. And if you try to execute any function without calling it, like this example here, you will see nothing in the output. Actually, you need to call this new function to see the message "Hi, Python is powerful and fast" in the output. This function has no parameters or arguments, so we have empty round braces in the calling of the new function. Execute it, and you will see "Hi, Python is powerful and fast" in the output. You can do the same thing for another function. Define it using the def keyword, type its name, place a single statement or a single line of code inside the indented body of the function, and call it to show the output. And this is to master this concept, to clarify everything. A function can return data as a result. In the Python language, you can use the return statement to return a value from a function back to the caller. And we have another example here, the def keyword to define the add function. However, this function in this case has 2 parameters, x and y, to pass information into the function body. Total sum equals x plus y. This addition operation here is the value of the total sum, and this function will return the total sum, the result from this addition operation after passing values for x and y into the function body. Try to call the add built-in function with the value of x, which is 30 in this example, and the value of y, which is 20 in this example here, for this calling in order. And once you hit enter, you will get the output. This add function returns 50 in the output, exactly as you can see here. Because the add function returns total sum as a result, you can assign a variable to the calling of this function. You can create a variable result and assign it to the calling of the add function with the values for x and y, 30 and 20 in order. And after this, if you try to print the result, you will get 50 in the response. Try to place another value for x and another value for y instead of using 30 and 20, and see the difference in the output. You can place different values. Also, you can create as many parameters as you need for this function. To make this function descriptive and meaningful for anyone, you can use docstring to insert hints or to put a description for this function. And if you try to use the help built-in function with the user-defined function called add as an argument, you will get this description in the output. In this example here, we have no descriptions. We need to insert information about the add function. At the beginning of the function body, insert docstring using triple quotes. To put explanation and description about the add function, try to add useful information. For example, here, as a test, type add function to return the total sum of x and y. And after completing this and executing this function, you can use the help built-in function again to see the difference in the function support. However, after this changing, let's call the add function again, but with different values for x and y in order, 15 for x and 20 for y. And the result in this case is 35. 15 plus 20 equals 35. Let's go ahead to use the help built-in function with add as an argument, and you can see full details about the add function. You can see this function to return the total sum of x and y. All these details here, and this is very useful. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Python is an object-oriented programming language, and almost everything in the Python programming language is considered an object. So what is the meaning of object-oriented programming in general? Object-oriented programming is a programming paradigm to create or organize softwares. And there are many advantages of using object-oriented programming. By applying object-oriented programming, you can secure your app. If you want to learn how to code faster, then learn object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming also improves the coding productivity and reusability. And instead of repeat the same code for many times, you can create one template, and based on this template you can create other templates with different information. For instance, in object-oriented programming you can create a class, and based on this class you can create many instances with different information for each instance. Class is the main template or blueprint for creating objects. And also in object-oriented programming, you can create a class as a main template, and you can create other templates or other classes based on this template by applying inheritance, in addition to important concepts like abstraction, polymorphism, and more. Let's take a simple example as a simple introduction for object-oriented programming with the Python language. To create our project, we need to create a new file. From the file menu, you can create a new Python file, then name and save it. In this example here, the file name is customer. We want to create a class as a main template for customer. So, to create class in the Python language, you need to use the class keyword. Start with this class keyword. It's a reserved keyword from the Python library. And at the beginning of the class header, start with this class keyword followed by the name of this class, which is customer in this example here. By convention, we start the class name by capital letter and follow the rules for naming variables to name any class in the Python language. And to mark the end of the class header, use colon. After this colon, you can hit enter or return, and you can start the body of this class. You will see the body is indented using white spaces or indentation. Python recognizes any block of code using indentation or white spaces. Inside this class, you can create variables which are called attributes. As in this example here, we have a single attribute which is count, and its value is 0 to display the count of customers. And inside the class body, you need to define the class constructor. By using the def keyword, define or declare the dunder init method instead of saying underscore underscore init underscore underscore say dunder init. And it has 3 parameters. The first one, self. Self is a reference for each instance we will create based on this customer class, and you can change it by convention. We use self here. The dunder init method is used to initialize the instance attributes for each instance we will create based on the customer class, and to access these instances we use the self parameter as the first parameter in the dunder init method. To access name and number in this example for each instance we will create based on this customer class. You can create as many parameters as you wish, not only name and number, you can create age and more. And inside the indented body of the dunder init method, don't forget to increase count or increment count by 1 to add 1 for each new instance we create based on this customer class. Inside the class, you can create user-defined functions. If you want to define normal function or a user-defined function inside a class, use the def keyword to create it inside the indented body of the class. User-defined function inside a class is called method. As in this example here, to display the count of customers, we define the display count method here inside the indented body of the customer class to print there are followed by number followed by customers. Modulo D acts as a placeholder for a number. So after this string you can see we have modulo customer.count to access the customer count and place it in the position of this placeholder modulo D. We need to display the details of each customer, so we need to create another method inside the customer class to display the details of each customer once we call this method. The method's name in this example is display details, and it has the self parameter as in the display count method as a reference for the current instance based on the customer class. By calling this display details method, we can display the name and the number of each customer. So the print function inside the indented body of this method to display name string followed by self.name to access the value of name for the current instance, followed by number string followed by self.number to access the number value for the current instance. For example, if the current instance is called customer1, then instead of saying self.number, say customer1.number to access the value of the current instance, which is customer1. Okay, we have successfully completed this customer class. Now you can create as many instances or as many objects as you wish based on the same template with different information for each instance. We have created 3 instances or objects based on the customer class. 3 customers with different information for each customer. As you can see, the first object is customer1, and this is an instance of the customer class, and the value of name is Ahmed and the value of number is 90. The second object is customer2, and also it's an instance of the customer class with different information, different name, which is Mike in this case, and the value of number is 80, and so on. You can create as many instances as you wish with different information based on the same template. Let's clarify how it works here. For example, for customer1, this is the current instance. So inside the constructor, which is the dunder init method, customer1.name equals name. Name in this case is Ahmed. So customer1.name equals Ahmed. Customer1.number equals 90. And the count for this customer is 1 because of using customer.count plus equals 1 to add 1 to the initial count, which is 0. And we use the self parameter to access the details of this customer for each method inside the customer class. So to display the details for customer 1, you can call the display details method by using the customer 1 object, and it will display, in this case, name Ahmed, number 90. And to display the count of all customers, use the latest one, which is customer 3 here, and this will give you 3 in the output. You will get there are 3 customers because we have 3 instances here, 3 customers. So all what you need to do is use the latest object, which is customer 3, to call the display count method from the customer class. To style the result in the output, let's add a line of text before displaying the details of each customer. You can use the print function to do this. The print function to display this text or this string, details of all customers, collection of characters. If you want to display the details of each customer, use its instance or object name to call the display details method from the customer class. The object name followed by the dot notation followed by the calling of the display details method. This is for customer 1, customer 2, customer 3 to display the details of each customer. You can add a comment before this to make your code readable, and after all of this, save and run this file, and you will get all these results here in the shell window. Thanks a lot for watching.